I never thought a quiet walk at night would become the kind of memory that sticks to your bones, something you replay over and over, wondering how things could have gone if not for one split-second decision, or for one dog who sensed danger long before I did. If you're watching this, stay with me until the end, because the moment everything shifted, the moment my dog reacted in a way I had never seen before, that's the part that will make you look at your own late-night routines differently. And maybe it'll make you appreciate your dog a little more too. It started on a Thursday night. Not a special day, not a stressful one, just a regular night after work. I remember feeling restless. I'd been inside all evening, and around 11 my mind felt foggy, like I needed air. My dog, Riley, a German Shepherd mix with more intuition than some people I know, perked up the second I put my shoes on. He nudged the door before I even touched the handle, tail low but alert, ears angled forward like he was trying to convince me he already knew this walk wasn't going to be like the others. But I didn't listen. Not yet. When we stepped outside, the night was colder than usual. Not freezing, just sharp in a way that made the hair on my arms rise. The streetlights buzzed faintly, flickering at the edges. Riley walked ahead at first, sniffing the grass, the fence posts, the usual things. But after a few minutes, he slowed down and stayed closer to my leg. Not brushing against me, just matching my pace, constantly glancing around. At the time, I thought he was reacting to a stray cat or a raccoon hiding somewhere. I even joked, "Easy, buddy, we're not storming a castle," but he didn't give me the usual tail wag or huff. His body stayed stiff, focused, like he was listening to something I couldn't hear. The street was quiet. Too quiet. No cars passing, no distant music, no neighbors chatting on porches. Just our footsteps echoing against the pavement and Riley's breathing, steady but tense. There's a point on my block where two streets meet, forming a kind of T-shape. The street ahead slopes downhill, leading toward a small patch of woods behind a row of old houses. It's usually peaceful, the kind of path I walk when I want silence. That night, though, the darkness felt heavy, like the trees were swallowing the light instead of reflecting it. As we approached the slope, Riley stopped dead in his tracks. His whole body froze, shoulders squared, tail straight, head tilted slightly upward like he had just caught something on the wind. I tugged the leash lightly. "Riley, come on." Nothing. He wouldn't move. Instead, he shifted his weight backward, bracing himself as if he wanted to pull me in the opposite direction. His ears were pinned forward, eyes locked on the bottom of the hill. I followed his gaze, squinting into the dark, but I didn't see anything. No shadows moving, no animals crossing, no headlights from cars. "Seriously, what's your problem tonight?" Again, no reaction, not even a blink. That was when I should have turned around, but I didn't. I took one more step forward and Riley let out a low, warning growl. Not aggressive, not loud. A sound I had only heard twice before, both times when he sensed someone walking too close behind us late at night. A protective sound. I knelt beside him, placed a hand on his neck, and instantly felt the tension in his muscles. His whole body was coiled like a spring, ready to jump or defend or run. That should have been enough to make me stop. But the stubborn part of me, the part that didn't want to believe anything was wrong, pulled him gently forward. "Let's just go a little farther. Then we'll head back." He reluctantly followed, but every few seconds he glanced behind us, then to the left, then to the right, mapping every sound, every shift in the air. I kept pretending everything was fine, even though my heartbeat had started to rise just from watching him. A few minutes later, we reached the bottom of the hill. The air felt cooler. The silence was so complete it almost rang in my ears. Riley paused again, sniffing the air in short bursts. He circled me once, stepping behind me, then in front, as though trying to reposition me away from something. "Riley, buddy, you're scaring me a little." This time he whined, soft, short, urgent. He nudged my leg hard, pushing me backward. I'd never seen him behave like that. And then I heard it. It wasn't loud, it wasn't even close. But it was enough. A faint crunch. Footsteps? Branches breaking? I couldn't tell. I froze. Riley didn't. He immediately positioned himself between me and the woods, head lowered, stance wide. His growl deepened, a rumbling warning, like thunder trapped inside his chest. I stared into the trees, searching for movement. For a moment, I thought I imagined the sound. The air didn't move, the shadows didn't shift. But I had that feeling, the one that crawls up your spine when you realize you're being watched. Riley barked, one loud, sharp bark that shattered the silence like breaking glass. My heart jumped into my throat. Usually, Riley's bark echoes once and then fades, but this time, the sound bounced strangely, swallowed by the woods and pushed back toward us like something was standing between the trees, something large enough to disrupt the echo. I gripped the leash tighter. Then the footsteps came again, this time unmistakable, slow, deliberate, getting closer. I stepped backward, pulling Riley with me. Instead of resisting, he moved in sync, walking backward while facing the woods, barking again and again. Short, urgent bursts. Not loud enough to echo this time. Controlled. Warning level. "Hey!" I shouted into the dark, trying to sound braver than I felt. "Who's there?" No answer, no voice, just the sound of something or someone breathing. A low, steady inhale. Then an exhale. Fifth or sixth time I heard it, and I knew. It wasn't an animal. At least not one I recognized. Riley's fur rose along his spine like a ridge. He lunged forward, barking violently now, and I had to brace myself so he wouldn't pull the leash from my hand. At that moment, a shape shifted between the trees, a tall silhouette. Not clear enough to identify, not close enough to describe, but close enough to see movement. And close enough for Riley to go from tense to protective in an instant. I didn't think. I ran. Riley stayed ahead of me, backward glancing every 2 steps, barking nonstop. He wasn't scared. He was trying to get me out of there as fast as possible. Behind us, the footsteps sped up. Not running, but not slow anymore. A steady, heavy pace. I could feel adrenaline blasting through me. My legs moved faster than my mind. Every part of me wanted to look back, but I didn't. And Riley wouldn't let me. He kept nudging my hip forward, guiding my steps like he was herding me to safety. We reached the top of the hill, and that was when something else happened. Something that still gives me chills when I think about it. One of the street lights flickered, buzzed, dimmed, then went completely dark. The rest of the street lights stayed on, but that one, right where we had just been, died instantly. And the footsteps stopped, not slowed, not faded, stopped. Riley barked one last time toward the darkened area, then he pulled harder on the leash, practically dragging me back toward my house. His pace didn't slow until we reached my driveway. Even then, he kept glancing over his shoulder, ears still pinned forward. I locked the front door as soon as we got inside. Riley stood in front of it staring, chest heaving. He wasn't shaking, not from fear. It was more like he was processing what happened, making sure whatever was out there wasn't coming any closer. I peeked through the window. Nothing. No movement, no silhouette, just darkness. But I swear I still felt eyes on me. Riley stayed by the door for nearly an hour, before finally relaxing enough to lie down. Even then, he rested with his head up, watching. I didn't sleep much that night. Every sound made me jump. Around 2 in the morning, I heard something faint outside. Maybe wind, maybe not. Riley lifted his head, ears perked. He didn't growl, didn't bark. He just stared toward the window until the sound faded. The next morning, I went outside to check the street light that had flickered out. The maintenance crew was already there, replacing it. One of the workers said it had burned out suddenly, and that it wasn't old or damaged. Just one of those things, he said with a shrug. But I noticed something else. On the sidewalk near the trees, footprints. Not mine. Not the pattern of any shoe I recognized. Deep impressions, long stride, leading from the woods to the bottom of the hill. Even stranger, they stopped halfway up the slope. Just stopped. No return steps, no branching path, nothing. And Riley, he refused to walk down that hill for weeks. Every time we approached the intersection, he pulled in the opposite direction, whining softly, tail tucked. Not from fear, but from a kind of warning instinct, like he didn't want me anywhere near that place. And I can't blame him, because deep down, I know something was there that night. Something watching, something waiting, something that would have gotten closer if Riley hadn't reacted the way he did. And the worst part is, I'm not sure it was the first time, but it was definitely the closest. I wish I could say the story ends there, that whatever was out in those trees stayed there, that it was just one strange night and nothing more. But life rarely wraps things up that neatly. Sometimes the moment you try to forget something, life pushes it right back in front of you, forcing you to acknowledge what you tried to ignore. For days after that night, Riley acted differently. He stayed closer to me at home, followed me from room to room, and never rested deeply unless he was near the front door. Every time the wind blew or a branch scraped the side of the house, he lifted his head and stared at the window until he was convinced everything was fine. I never realized how much I depended on his sense of safety, until the night I found myself checking the locks 3 times before bed. About a week later, something strange happened during one of our early evening walks. It was still light outside, the sun just beginning to sink, and Riley seemed more relaxed than he had been since the incident. We took our usual route, avoiding the hill entirely, sticking to the more populated streets with porch lights and neighbors tending to their gardens. But halfway down our block, Riley suddenly stopped, not with the same tense freeze he had shown before. This time it was more like he was listening. His ears angled slightly backward, not forward, his head turning to the side as though he caught something behind us to the right. I followed his gaze. Nothing but a line of parked cars, and the glow of my neighbor's living room spilling through their window. "Riley," I whispered. He didn't growl, he didn't bark, but the fur on his back lifted again, slow and deliberate. And a second later, I heard it. Distant footsteps. Not hurried, not heavy, just present, like someone was walking down the sidewalk several houses behind us. I turned my head slowly, trying not to look startled, but the street was empty. Nobody out, no dog walkers, no kids on bikes, just the sound. Riley pressed against my leg, urging me forward. When we reached the corner, I took a sharp turn toward the main street, hoping to shake off whatever feeling was building inside me. Riley stayed close, matching my steps. But after a minute, he looked over his shoulder again, and that's when I heard a sound I'll never forget. A soft, faint whistle, 3 notes, low, slow, deliberate. Not the playful kind, not random, a signal. Riley's entire posture changed instantly. He stood still, tail down, head high, staring in the direction the whistle came from. I scanned the street again but saw no one. And then, suddenly, silence. The whistling stopped. The footsteps stopped. The air felt wrong again, heavy and still, just like that night on the hill. I didn't wait for anything else. I tightened my grip on the leash and headed straight back home. Riley didn't need encouragement. He walked fast, occasionally looking behind us as if reassuring himself we were ahead of whatever had followed. When we got inside, he ran to every window, checking each one before finally settling by the front door again. That night, he didn't sleep at all. Every sound outside made him lift his head, ears sharp. And I realized something then. This wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. Whatever had been out there that night, it wasn't done. The next day, I installed cameras around the house. Front door, backyard, driveway. I didn't tell anyone why. I didn't want to sound paranoid. But deep down, I knew Riley wasn't imagining things. And neither was I. 2 nights later, at around 3 in the morning, I woke up to the sound of Riley growling. Not loud, but steady, controlled, focused. I slipped out of bed and followed his gaze toward the living room window. He was staring at the front yard, frozen, listening. My heart pounded. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera app linked to the front door feed. At first I didn't see anything, just darkness, the beam of the streetlight across the sidewalk, Riley's reflection faintly visible in the glass. Then I saw it, a shadow, a figure standing just outside the range of the light. Not close to the door, not far, still, watching. I zoomed in, but the lighting was too poor to make out details. Tall, broad, unmoving, as though the person knew exactly how far to stand to avoid the camera's clarity. I didn't breathe, didn't move, didn't even blink. Riley growled again, louder this time, stepping closer to the window. The shape didn't react. It didn't flinch or retreat. It simply stood there, like it had been waiting. I hovered my finger over the emergency call button on my phone, but before I pressed it, the figure slowly turned. Not toward my door, toward the hill. Then it walked away. Calm, unhurried, confident. It disappeared behind the trees at the end of the street. Riley barked 3 times, sharp and rapid, then scratched at the door like he wanted to chase the figure away for good. I held him back, whispering to calm him, though my hands were shaking. When morning came, I checked the camera footage frame by frame. The figure appeared in the recording for barely a second before stepping out of view. Just long enough to confirm I hadn't imagined it. Long enough to prove Riley had been right all along. For days after that, I didn't walk at night. Riley still wanted to go out, but his behavior had changed. He sniffed the air constantly, stuck close to me whenever we stepped outside, and avoided the hill completely. Sometimes he would stop mid-walk, stare into what seemed like empty space and let out a low growl. Then came the night everything reached its peak. The night Riley saved me again. But in a way I still can't fully process. It was late, and I had stayed up watching TV. Around midnight, Riley walked to the door and sat in front of it, staring back at me like he wanted something. I thought he needed to go out, but when I reached for the leash, he didn't move. Instead, he looked at me intently, ears stiff, tail barely twitching. Something was off. He nudged my leg, then the window, then back to the door. Not asking to walk, alerting me. That was when I heard it. A faint sound outside. Not footsteps this time, not whistling. Breathing, close, just outside the door. And then a soft scrape like someone dragging their fingers across the wood. My entire body went cold. Riley lunged at the door, barking violently, his teeth bared in a way I had never seen. His whole body crashed against the door with such force that the sound echoed through the house. The scraping stopped, the breathing stopped, then the steps retreated, slowly, like whoever was there wasn't scared, just testing. I waited until the sounds faded completely before checking the camera. Once again, the figure was there, standing still, facing the house, head slightly tilted as if studying the door. This time, though, Riley's attack had startled them enough to make them back away, but not leave, not fully. The last frame showed the silhouette walking toward the hill again. That was the last night I ever ignored Riley's instincts. The next morning, I filed a report. The police checked the area, walked the border of the woods, and found footprints leading in and out of the tree line. Large, deep-spaced, exactly the same as the ones I had seen earlier on the slope. They suggested it might have been someone passing through, maybe someone avoiding main roads. They told me to keep my cameras on and to call again if anything happened. But I knew it wasn't just someone passing through. People who simply pass through don't stand outside a house for minutes. They don't whistle. They don't return multiple nights. They don't test doors. Whatever the reason behind it, Riley kept me safe. If he hadn't warned me, if he hadn't sensed everything long before I did, I don't know how close that figure would have come to my home, or what their intentions were. Few nights later, the activity stopped completely. No footsteps, no whistling, no silhouette under the streetlight. Just silence. But Riley didn't relax fully until weeks had passed. Even now, sometimes during late walks, he'll stop, listen, and scan the area before deciding the path is safe. He still stays close to me on night walks, but now I let him choose the direction. I don't force him toward anything. I trust his instincts more than I trust my own senses. Because on that night, when he walked alone with me under the dark sky, he knew something was wrong long before I did. I owe him more than just gratitude. I owe him my safety, maybe more than that. And if you ever doubt your dog's instincts, don't. They see things we can't, hear things we ignore, and understand danger in ways we'll never fully grasp. Riley did. And because of him, I'm here telling this story instead of wondering what might have happened if I hadn't listened. Thank you for staying with me through this entire experience. It means more than you know. If you want more stories like this, or if you want to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. And again, thank you for staying until the end.